I don't know you. I don't know you. But I want to.
Oh! I love that beat.
I love that bell.
Yeah.
Hello, Grand fans. This is the first podcast of Victoriously Crazy. I'm Marilyn, playing Andre's grandma. I'm Victorious. This is Percy, my partner in crime. And, Percy was on set with me. It's a long process when you film something. Went in the morning, came out in the evening, and I had to have my man with me to calm me down because I get cranky. No, I don't. Yeah.
And how we know each other, we met on the bus.
Yes.
Probably around 30 years ago.
He was in the middle, I was in the back. And I was looking at him and I gave him the hot eye. But he didn't even look at me.
I didn't know what was going on.
Got on another bus, walked the block, and I said to God, I really was attracted to that man. I wish I had said something. And he came walking down the street. But I don't want to get too much into that. For those of you that don't know about Victorious or what Victorious is a Nickelodeon show that I first filmed in 2009 and canceled in 2012. Grand fans, you guys are strong. I mean, I get so many questions and so many people saying how much they like the character that we just feel it's next level time, which is a podcast.
Woo!
So you seeing an old lady that plays crazy doing a podcast.
That's right.
And I may get a little crazy during the podcast. Well, I know I will, because we're going to do a lot of different things on this podcast. We're going to talk about the shows. We're going to start with the audition process and then the pilot that I filmed. And we're just going to go down the line, and we're just going to, it may not be in the order they were filmed, but I did 8 shows and 3 webisodes. So there's a lot to cover. And each show we will have questions from you grand fans. So you'll have an opportunity to ask questions, and we will actually address those questions at the beginning of each podcast. Maybe it's time to get into the questions. I know the grand fans are waiting to see lots of questions, but we only picked 5, but don't be discouraged. There's going to be a request for questions for every episode. We're going to be doing this a long time, especially with us having guests in between, actual cast members.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we got a good one coming up, but we'll talk about that later. So you ready to hit those questions?
Number 1 is Beck.
Yes.
And his question is, what was your reaction getting the role as Andre's grandma? Did you think you were going to get the role?
Actually, I was shocked. I was new to acting. I didn't think I was going to get the role. There was 19 grandmas there, and I'll go into more detail later.
All right. The next question is from Cody Troxell. That's Troxel. During the audition process, did they try to help you play up the insanity of Andre's grandma, or was that up to you?
During the audition process, they just give you a script. It's up to you to interpret it and flesh it out and make it the way that they want it to be. It was in the second audition where I really got into the physicality of the role, the craziness and all that. But I'm a middle child. I got 2 brothers older than me, 2 sisters young. I could flip on crazy like a light switch. That's how you keep people from beating you up when you got big brothers.
Wow.
No.
Apparently it worked because you're still here. So,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, they don't mess with me. Next question.
All right. Number 3 is from Kada. Cada.
Hi, Kada.
How many times did it take to say, I don't know you for the show?
That's a very good question. When we did the pilot, that's where that line was introduced. I was kneeling down in between the rows of audiences. And, it's going to be fun to ask Matt Bennett what he thought. Okay, he's our next guest. I let it out. It'll be fun to ask him what he thought when he saw me pop up, because I think I kind of scared them when they were on stage doing their thing, and I popped up and I screamed in Tori's face, I don't know you, Oh, so I said I don't know you maybe about 10 times when they filmed that.
Did it feel like something that you just that was inside of you that you just had to get out?
We all have crazy inside of us, and don't hate me because I can pull mine out and work it.
All right.
Next question.
The next question is from the real Sinjin. Which actor did you meet first from Victorious?
I met Leon first because he's playing my grandson, and I think they wanted us to get acquainted, so I met him first. And also, when we did the table read, he sat close to me because our lines usually interacted with each other. So that's kind of a short answer. It was Leon.
Wow.
Yeah, the handsome Leon Thomas III.
Yeah.
Don't forget those three.
He was a nice guy.
Oh, he's a very nice guy.
Yeah, bless him.
Yeah. I hope
very
he comes
talented.
on the podcast.
Oh, that would
I'd be
great.
just as happy as though he was my real, grandson, and I would scream Andre in his face.
That's right. All right. The last question is from Brianna Portnoy. Do you have a favorite moment or scene on Victorious?
If you're familiar with my Instagram page, grand fans know that my favorite is driving Tori crazy. And that's because I got to dump oatmeal in Tori's hands when I asked her to hold my mug for me. The thing about that scene is it was done only once. So I had to get that oatmeal dump right and tight. And I'm an expert in dumping oatmeal. I think that's why I got the job.
You something else, man.
It was a lot going on in that script. She was trying to get to school and taking rides and it was very funny. But when I dumped that oatmeal, the people standing around and everybody watching, they had a hard time not laughing. And if you look at it again and you look very close, I almost broke character and I kind of held it back with a little smile, but I wanted to laugh myself because the look on her face was hilarious.
It was. And I remember that little smile broke, but I thought you were smiling like, I got her.
That wasn't a crazy smile. That was like, this is funny and I'm getting paid.
Yeah, it was really wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, so we covered the questions. All right. Let's see. I had some notes here. Oh, yeah, here they are. I'm an old lady, so I write stuff down in person.
Best to.
That's how we do it, right? We don't forget. Actually, I want to start out with how I got into acting. You see this handsome fella right here?
Oh, thank you,
That's
man.
you.
You're so nice. Why don't you say that when we're not on?
Now, I tell you handsome all the
I'm
time.
just playing. Grandma is really sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a character.
Yes, a character that's crazy.
Well, most of it character. She kind of like she got a little of that in her for real though.
I'm about to bite something.
All right, let's stop that.
Okay, so Percy got me into acting.
Yeah, I like to say that God did it because he blessed me. I was an only child and I always wanted to act.
Yes.
And one day I was in a grocery store and I'm always talking to people because I shop a lot because I cook. I was talking to some people in the store.
Yes.
It was a bunch of ladies and I'm cracking jokes like I normally do. And as I went outside, there was a lady that said, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, say what?
Trying to hit on my man.
That's what I thought. But it wasn't that at all. She was actual agent.
Yeah.
And she said, you'll be good in commercials and TV shows. And I'm like, really? And I went to her office the next day and she signed me.
Yeah, she sure did.
Yeah.
And he was so phenomenal that when she found out he was married, she wanted to sign me. I believe he asked me for almost a year to sign with his agent. And I worked at a law firm. I was a litigation supervisor at a nonprofit law firm. I was so happy with my job. I kept saying no. So one day to get him off of my back, I decided to go ahead, meet with the woman, sign with the woman.
Yeah.
On my first audition, I really wasn't committed. I went in there. I had a piece of paper. That's how I did it. Saying my lines, looking up, and they in the middle of that mess, they said, next.
Yeah.
I felt bad. I went straight to the library and I got books on acting, the terms, what it's about, all that kind of thing. And I went through those books. The second audition, I guess because I was so bad, she sent me to an acting coach. Now, an agent's job is to get you those jobs, to send you there. So when you look bad, they look bad. Because they don't want the casting people to say, why are you sending this person to me? And they're not even interested or whatever. So she sent me to an acting coach named Jerish Poindexter.
Yeah.
And wasn't he on Hollywood Boulevard?
Yeah, he was somewhere in Hollywood. And I know when he was telling you and training you, he looked and said that you're a natural.
Yeah, I thought he was talking about my hair.
Your hair. Your hair was natural
Because I
at
never
that time.
wore, anything else
Yeah,
but my hair.
yeah.
But the part was for a black woman whose son had been involved in some type of crime, and I was talking at the police department. It was for a show called The Shield, which is a show I watch all the time. So my mind was blown that I actually was being asked to audition for The Shield. And I got booked for the part. The director said she's not even SAG-AFTRA, which is the union actors are in.
Yeah.
And you have to be in that union to do that kind of work. And somebody said, well, get her in it.
Isn't that something?
So I became a SAG member. Getting booked for that, I got an idea what acting was about, what an agent does. An agent finds you the jobs, sends you out there to audition. Being new, I had no idea that I'm competing with a lot of people, because sometimes they have you all in at once, or they could have you at a specific time and you never see who your competition is. So it just depends on that. So This agent, unfortunately, when I got victorious, I wasn't with her because with The Shield, there was some type of miscommunication about my checks. She thought they were hers and didn't think they were mine. We worked it out.
We dropped her. The thing about having an agent, you could hire them and fire them. You know, they don't, you work and they're actually working with you, but you don't work for them because they don't get paid unless we get the job.
I didn't mind her taking the money as long as she gave it to me later. I went to the bank to cash a check and they said there's not enough in here to cover the check.
That was terrible. Wasn't that terrible?
And what did I say? Well, give me what you got. I'll take it.
Yo, so listen, I want to ask you, when you did Victorious, what did you wear?
What did I wear? For the audition, when they finally sent me to the audition, I actually wore what I have on now. And for those listening, it's like a navy dress. It has a navy collar and it has like the white little stitching and stuff like that. And I wore some black and white Converse tennis shoes. So I looked grandma on the top and crazy on the bottom. I had these granny socks that were all messy. They weren't pulled up properly. You've seen that. You'd be like, God, does that lady know? One's down, one's up. I kind of went full visual for the granny part. And there was 19 women there.
Wow.
When I walked in. And we were all black because we're Andre's grandma.
Yeah.
Kind of had similar features, but not quite. And I recognized one woman. She has a tendency to wear a little wig on the top of her head. She snatch it off and slam it on the ground. And I said, oh, the wig snatcher is here.
The wig snatcher.
I'm not going to get this. The wig snatcher is here.
Yeah, people do that so they can remember them or stand out from everyone else. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it does not.
Well, if it becomes routine.
Yeah.
And everyone's friendly in acting. They're the most friendliest people ever.
For real.
Except for the wig snatcher.
Oh, you said she was friendly. She was just out for what she
was competitive. So we, all kind of just, you don't want to talk too much because if you have lines, you want to absorb those. You want to be able to get into the character and all that. When I went in, they asked you to select your name. I say my name. They say, this is what the scene is about. This is what they want you to do. I can't even remember the lines. It was so long ago. I do know, I said, I don't know you really loud because that was a big part of that scene. And going into the room to do the audition, the casting director said, watch your step. There was like a little curve. You had to step up to go into the room. She said, watch your step. I don't want you to fall. So at that moment, I made the decision to act like I fell coming out. Just to make myself different. Because it was 19 grandmas. Yeah. So coming out, she said it again, watch your step. And I went, oh! And she said, oh no. I said, oh, I didn't fall. I said, I'm just being silly, trying to lighten it up. You got to see all of us. And, it's got to be hard. And she started laughing, oh, you're so silly. And then I said, I hope I didn't mess that up. Of the grandmas, the one I remember specifically is a wig snatcher. And then there was another one that she seemed really nice. She had a flowery blouse on with a white cardigan and pearls. She looked really elegant. And I'm thinking,
wow,
maybe I kind of went the wrong route because I look like I'm nuts. With the saggy socks, the Converse tennis shoes, and the sailor dress. And But I like my little sailor dress with the little blue and the little white popping and the little white buttons. And
so you did you, right?
I did what I thought Andre's grandma would look like. And there was one grandma in particular dressed in all black, and I was like, she looked like she went to a funeral. Did grandpa die? So after that audition, maybe a day and a half, 2 days later, my agent got in touch and said, you got a second call.
Wow.
Now, a second call is they want you to come back and they want to look at you again and they want to compare you with other people that they may have called back, or it could be just you. You have no idea. And you could come back and it could be all the executives and the casting people in the room. You can go in a room and there really is a casting couch. They'll have a camera set up and they'll have that camera pointed at you and you'll be facing the people sitting on the couch. And they'll be looking at you, looking at how you dress, how you act, and they'll be assessing you to make the decision about whether or not they want to cast you for the show. So when I went back, it was that type of scenario. It was a room. They had a table like you get on, one of those things that you get on when you see the doctor. And I think it was 2 people. And I realized now, I think one of them was Dan Schneider, but it was so long ago. But it was a man and 2 women, and they were sitting on the couch. They had the camera set up. They had the table, and they said, this is the scene. You're seeing the doctor, but you're very nervous about it.
Oh, wow.
And that's all they told me. As the actor, it was up to me
to show what you
to flesh that out and show what nervousness would be about.
Wow.
And they said, you're in the examining robe and you don't want yourself to show. They said, can you do that? And I was like, yeah. So I'm all clutchy, and I was like, don't touch my skin, which I now realize that's where that line came from.
Oh, so it wasn't written down.
No, that's all me.
Wow.
That's me.
And then they used it.
They used it down the line somewhere. And I was like trying to lay down. I popped back up. I'd get up like I was going to run. And they were laughing and laughing. And I never paid any attention to them. I just kept going until they said cut. And they said, okay, thank you. And I left. And I looked at the other 9 grandmas that was out there. And I said, oh, I got this. Well, 8, because I think it was 9 or 10. But I said, oh, I think I got this. Because I feel like anytime I can make someone laugh, especially if it's a comedic role, I feel like my mission was accomplished. And even if I don't get it, you did the best that you could do. Did the best. I got to laugh. And my eyes are so big. It's like, how else can you see if someone's upset or nervous unless you're looking at their eyes?
Eyes are the window to the soul. There you go. See there?
See that? The window's open. The window's open. It's open. Okay. So now that we talked about the audition and we talked about the grandmas and all that, I got booked.
Woo!
They called my agent and they said, we want her to play this role. Now, keep in mind, I was still working at the law office at the time. Right. So they said, we want her to come down on blah, blah, blah date and film the pilot. And I said, okay, I'll do it on my lunch hour. I had no idea how involved the process was. And they said, well, you can't do it on your lunch hour because we got to have the table read the day before. And then when you film, we just film until we're done. We don't know how long it'll take.
Right.
But if you could please, just take a couple of days off your work, we'll make it worth your while. And I think the pay was like $787 per day. So I said, don't worry about it. I'll be there.
You worked it out. Huh?
I worked it out. I was always honest with my job. I told him, I'm into acting. My husband and I, he got me into acting. And I have this opportunity. I had tons of time, vacation time and sick time. And they were excited. It's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. You go do that. So I had this experience with their blessing, went down for the table read. And when they say table read, they mean table read, right, Percy?
That's right. Everybody who's on the show is there. Yeah. And they even allowed friends and families, basically, to sit in and watch.
And I love that because the cast were all teenagers. I think they were 15 or 16 at the time. So by law, their parents do have to be there and have to observe what's going on with them. So that opened the door for Percy to be there with me when the table read occurred. So Dan Schneider, I didn't really kind of realize who he was at that time, but he was like, okay, Marilyn, you sit here. And then there was a person, I think it may have been Daniela, and he said, and Andre or Leon, you sit there. And I realized it was because of our lines, that we're kind of connected with each other. So from top to bottom, we read that script.
Wow.
And when it came time for me, I was like, yay, Andre. And Dan Schneider said, act it out. He said, remember, you're in the audience, so you got to get loud. I said, I can get really loud. You want me to get loud? He's like, yeah. So I said, okay. So when it came time for my line, I'm like, yay, Andre! That's my grandson! And they started laughing. So a table read is, like I said, when everyone is at the table. Everyone. Right? Even the guy that does Rex, who was a cast member and a writer. He did Rex. We were all went line by line by line through that entire script. Every act, every scene. We went through it. We did the lines. We didn't read the scenery or what the scene was set, but we did our lines. And then at the end of that, we would take a break and they would make adjustments because the written word sometimes doesn't come across as well as the spoken word. So they would take a break. They would have us, we can go get something to drink or go to the restroom. And they would adjust certain words or add words or take away words. And then we come back and we do it again. Usually a table read would only be done once or twice because they work out anything else when you're actually filming, And my first time at Nickelodeon was amazing because at the time, iCarly was the big show.
Yeah, it was.
So the studio was on Sunset, and you go into this gate, this private gate. You have to show your ID, which is common for studios, right, babe?
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want just anybody walking in.
No, you just cannot.
Yeah. You can't have like Joe Blow Bishhead coming in saying, I'm on the show, So when you look up, there's this mural, this giant mural of all the iCarly cast. And you're thinking, wow, this is a big
amazing.
deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you go through a door and it's dark. Everything's real dark. Black walls, black floors, cords everywhere. And they have someone waiting there to lead you to wherever they want to lead you. And once you get past the actual studio and they take you to the offices, that's where the table read occurs. You go up some stairs. It's all lit, of course. And that's where all the cast is. And that's where I met everyone for the first time at a table read. Mm-hmm. Remember?
Yeah. Did everybody have a script in front of them? Or did some people know their lines?
Ariana Grande always knew her lines because before you actually come in to do the table read, they email to you the script.
Okay.
So if you're a good actor, you're going to open up that PDF. You're going to read that entire script and you're going to know what your line is. And you're going to know the line before your line and you're going to know the line after your line because you don't want an actor saying their line and it's your turn and you're like, what am I going to have for lunch?
It's your time to do it.
It's your time to shine. It's your time to show them what you can do. And that's kind of one of the ways they can tell if you're a professional. But I have always believed in being prepared. That's the way I live my life. I like to read. I like to be prepared. I think that's why I've always been successful at working. So after you do the table read and they get comfortable with that and they see you're comfortable with the script, then you go to wardrobe, which is another section. The studio's huge. So you go to wardrobe. I think that's the fun part of acting. What do you think?
Yeah, dress up. Even guys like it. It's like you got somebody like, they call you the talent. And it's like somebody is always there like preening over you and checking you out and making sure you look right. So that feels really good.
They
You
bring
feel
out
special.
outfits. You do.
I don't have outfits.
And they say, try this on, and you try it on, and you come out, and they look at it, and they take a picture of you in it, because they're going to send it to the director, and he controls everything. He directs everything, and he chooses what you wear.
Yeah.
He chooses your makeup, how he wants you to look. So, I tried on about 3 outfits, 3 pair of shoes. Once they took pictures and got that down, and I'm talking about the day that we film now. They send you to makeup. You don't do makeup until you're actually going to film that day, because it's basically a waste of time. Why make you up if you're not going to be on film? And so with my hair being short and everything, they just kind of parted it in the middle and pinned it back. And they put, the makeup is much heavier. I wear very light makeup. It's much heavier than what I'm wearing, because it got to translate on camera. So they put the false eyelashes on you, and they put heavy eyebrows and blush, and they really make you up. When they say makeup, they mean it. They mean it. You're sitting in the chair, and they always smell good. Who wants BO when you're, Yeah,
well.
Yeah. Have you ever smelled a bad makeup person?
No. I love the makeup people, but I like them better. Not to say it's nothing wrong with wardrobe, but
there's something wrong with wardrobe.
I know, it's like you could tell they had their little dolls when they were little girls.
And they'd rather you not be human.
Yeah, and they know what's best, and they don't really care about what you think. What you're wearing. Kind of mean. Yeah, they were kind of, not on that show particular, not. But I'm just saying in general.
Everybody was.
Because
we've been doing this a while, but it's always good with makeup, because you sit in that chair and they make you feel good,
and they're very personable. Yeah, the makeup people. So that was a good experience.
So once I got past makeup, we actually started doing what they call run-throughs, which is basically you're testing out your knowledge of the script. You're acting it out. You go, if it's my scene only, I'm not going to be there the whole time, but I have the ability to, if I want to sit there and watch. Yeah. Or I could wait in my dressing room. Being I was booked for 1 show, by the way.
Wow, just 1 show.
1 show. So I was in what they call the green room. I didn't have my own dressing room because I wasn't supposed to come back.
Yeah, you weren't.
I was not cast.
Regular cast.
Cast had their own. And in acting, when you're high level cast, they have someone that is at your side every moment to take care of your every need. If you're thirsty, they will bring you a drink. If you're hungry, they'll bring you an apple or something like that in between shooting. If you're not sure about the line, they have the script and they'll review the script with you. They're there to cater to you, because you are the talent, and they want you to just focus on what you have to do.
That's right.
And that's the way it always is in acting. When you're filming, you have an assistant that's assigned to you, and then some people do get the big head, because it is kind of it's a strange
but that's something
atmosphere
that they had before they got there. It was something inside of them, because 98% of the time when I did whatever I did, people were very nice. Very nice. And I worked at the airport as a traffic officer, and I got a chance to meet a lot of people. And like I said, I was a nice one. I'm not the one that gave you the ticket, okay? I was the one trying to help you.
That's right.
Which was what we were supposed to do. But 98% of the people that I saw at the airport who were well known, they were nice. And I think they believe and they understood that you have to act a certain way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they were acting, but some people they were just nice. I think they were just happy. They were actors.
You actually wrote a book about that, right?
Yeah, I wrote a book about it, and I didn't really have anything bad to say about too many people.
What was the title of the book? Celebrity
Airport Encounters
at LAX.
At LAX.
The good,
the bad, and the ugly. And out of the 123 people I wrote about, there were probably only about 10 people who were on the ugly side. Yeah. And, you
could actually find it if you Google the title of the book, you'll find it. You'll see a nice picture of Percy in his uniform. It was published through this company called It's Libras. If you want to buy the book, more power to you, but they're stealing our money. They're not giving.
Yeah, if you want to write a book, my advice, if you're not a A1 celebrity or something, don't waste your
do it.
time.
They end up stealing your money. You
Yeah.
spend a lot, but
Oh, we want to do this for you, do that for you. Then they'll send you a whole bunch of paper, and then nothing comes out of it.
yeah, if you got a story, do you? I mean, sometimes you got to get it out.
Yeah.
And the relatives have heard it and they don't want to hear it again.
Yeah,
So, okay, so getting back to the pilot,
yeah.
wardrobe's done. I got my makeup on. We're doing a run through. We do it. It's always 3 times. And the third time, all the executives are there. They're there watching and looking because we're dealing with children and they want to make sure you don't slip in something that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're looking, they're laughing if it goes right, and then they finally say, "Okay, go ahead and shoot." So when it's time for my scene, they'll have me come down to watch the scene before the scene that I'm in. So I'm there and I'm soaking up the atmosphere. So when it was time for me to film, Dan said, "Okay, come over here." I knew what the script said. I knew what it was about. There was a pad. What do they call it? Foley pad? Or they got a name for those stunt pads.
Oh yeah, yeah. But they have a place where they make sounds. Like whenever you hear a sound in a show, it's not the actual sound.
It's matched up.
It's matched up in a room they call the Foley room.
Right.
So if you hear a slap or something, it's somebody probably hitting a piece of meat with a board.
Yeah. And then they go cook it later and have it for dinner.
Oh, you crazy. See, and they wonder why they picked her.
So, okay, so when they had background actors and they had 3 rows in front, 3 rows in back of the row that I was in. And they told me, this is what you do. You sit down and then you get nervous because you're around all these people. Your character has not come out of the house. She's afraid of everything. Dan Schneider says she's basically afraid of everything, but just think she's afraid of butterflies, pancake, and air. Okay. So you are afraid of everything. So when you get in that theater and you see everybody, you're nervous, you're not comfortable, you're out of your zone, and you are holding on, and Tori comes in and says hello. And that pushes you over the edge. You dive down on the floor, and then you pop up and you scream, "I don't know you," in her face. And I mean scream. I know you can do it. So I said, okay. And he said, "You know the script. When Andre comes out, you're happy to see your grandson. That is the only reason you are there." So you're like, "Hey, Andre, that's my grandson, Andre." Okay. You get into it. And I said, okay. So everybody's sitting around, they thinking, "Ooh, I'm sitting by actors," and I'm thinking, "Oh, these background people are so cool," And there just weren't that many roles of actors in real life. It's framed tight. When you see a theater, a lot of times they have the film and they manipulate it. And if you look real close, you're seeing the same person in 2 or 3 rows. Yeah. It's just a manipulation of what you see, and what's up close is what they're focusing on. So the 3 rows behind me, maybe the 1 row behind me is where the real focus was, because they wanted the reaction on their face when I got down on the floor and was yelling and all that kind of stuff. So we did that scene maybe 4 times, especially the "I don't know you." I think they just got a kick out of the look on Tori's face, because I was all up in it.
Tori's a great actor.
And she's a great actor.
Yeah. She's
awesome. And so, I did that. I did the "I don't know you." I did the "Yay, that's my grandson, Andre. Yay." And, Tori was sweet. She was very sweet. And she's like, "Wow." The show was created to highlight their singing. I don't know if I forgot to mention that, to highlight their singing and dancing talent. So, they all had a resume anyway. Andre I remember him from August Rush, and I think he was in The Lion King. And I think Ariana Grande did a show called 13 or a movie called 13, or that may have been Jade. I don't know. I never knew them. They obviously didn't hear me. I was new. But anyway, after everything was filmed and everything was done and I felt really good. I felt like I did a really good job. We went in there at 9 in the morning, and when we walked out the studio door, it was pitch black outside.
Okay.
We had been there all day. It was like
All
9
day.
o'clock at night.
Wow.
And they don't have cameras with time on it. They don't have anything time-wise around you. I think so it won't discourage you, so that you won't know you've been there that long.
Yeah, because they're not concerned with the time.
Yeah.
Right? They're concerned about doing the job and however long it takes, right?
Yeah. Oh, my brain's kicking in. It was Ariana and Liz, Kat and Jade, who were in 13 together, and I think it may have been a musical. We covered the audition process. I told you a little bit about what an agent is about, and we hit the questions before we got started. I do believe that the questions that didn't make it were covered during this podcast and stuff like that. We really appreciate the questions. We appreciate you guys. You tell everybody about this podcast.
That's right.
Every show and webisode was a different experience. So I'll be able to tell you something specifically about relating to that show and that experience. It was all a lot of fun. I learned something every show that I did. I can turn this character on and off very easily, as you can see from my YouTube channel. It's just crazy. So
yeah, some people are method actors where even when you're having a break, there's still that character.
Yeah, they can't
break out of it. That's why they keep the character. But some people are on and offers. I call them on and off. Once you say cut, that's it.
That's it. And I'm an on and off.
She's an on and offer like me. Yeah.
We're gonna show the podcast on Wednesdays. Next week will be Matt Bennett.
Matt in
who
the
played
house.
Robbie. We tried to get Rex, but he's in Jamaica. So
sipping on a drink with his
he's
Hawaiian
busy.
shirt on. He has a Hawaiian shirt sitting in Jamaica.
And he's surrounded by a bunch of beautiful women. So he wasn't interested. But we can keep trying. He's got to come back to the States sooner or later.
Oh, that's funny.
Right? So what you have to do is you have to make sure that you follow and you subscribe at Victoriously Crazy Podcast. That's where all the information will come through, the promos, the clips, anything that we want to share with you regarding the show. Instagram, TikTok,
all the sites you can
or
see
the Talk Tick.
The top.
You know.
That's crazy. See, that's when the crazy come in.
Yeah, YouTube. You can listen on all audio platforms.
Yes, name them.
Because I went off.
Name them.
Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Pandora, anything you could think of. Don't keep it to yourself.
That's right.
Share it. I'm sharing the crazy, so you share it too. And let other people know about it.
That's right.
And speaking of sharing the crazy, we have a segment in our podcast, and our production supervisor, Bennett, is going to explain to you what it is.
Well, we couldn't leave you guys without a little bit of fun from Andre's grandma, right? So this is called Andre's Grandma Acts Out. Now, Percy, you come up with a scenario that you think Andre's grandma would find herself in, and we're going to see how crazy she can get. So what is going to happen right now?
I believe she should be in the vegetable section of the store because there's so much to talk about in that section. I want to see how she responds when she looks at certain vegetables she loves or may not love. Uh-oh. She's looking around, up and down.
Too many people.
Uh-oh. Got her hand on her nose.
I don't need these green beans.
Uh-oh, not the beans.
Being all pointy with me.
I think they're pointing at her.
Oh, is that a tomato? It followed me here. I know it did. All I see is vegetables, and they have eyes. Oh, wait, that's a potato.
Mm-hmm.
They do have eyes.
You like them, don't you?
I should have brought my knife. I would have made me some French fries right here on the spot. If I had my knife. Uh-oh, I see security.
Security.
Must have been that knife there. Look, sir, back up, sir, and put down the banana. I had to get my green beans. I had to get them. Green beans and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Why are they looking at me? Okay, I'll drop the green beans.
Good.
But I'm keeping a Dana, because it got real pretty eyes.
They're staring at you
They're
too, huh?
so pretty. They're prettier than mine.
Mm.
No, nobody got prettier eyes than I do. I gotta get out of here. How long am I gonna have to do this?
At least take some celery with you
Celery. They green beans, cousin.
and sing.